Good evening and thanks so much for staying there on News at 10. My name is Bright Nana Amfo. Tonight, we'll tell you what's making up news on various platforms and also some major highlights, starting with the day's ones. Beginning from Karachi in the Volta region, a Karachi East Magistrate Court on Thursday, November 10, incarcerated two culprits for child trafficking and child labor for 12 months in hard labor. We're told that the two, Mauli Nyajo and Lydia Doche, both pleaded guilty on conspiracy to commit crime and child trafficking and were convicted on their own plea. The Fisheries Commission Task Force based in Prampram in the Greater Accra region has arrested 58 fishermen allegedly engaging in illegal fishing in the Tema Canoe Beach waters. 6 fishermen have also been detained at the Tema Regional Police Command over the clashes between the Tema Newtown fishermen and the task force. Over 800 hectares of teak, aframo and cedrela tree species have been cultivated within 1 year in the Tano of Fing Forest Reserve in Ashanti region under the modified Twinja system. The Nkawi Forest District of the Forestry Commission of Ghana plans to expand the plantation development to all degraded parts of the forest within the next 5 years. Inhabitants of Nkonya and Alavanyo say they are fed up with criminalities that have divided them. Speaking at separate meetings with the Volta Regional Peace Council, representatives of the two insist a decade of conflict has stalled development. They called on government to support the Peace Council to restore lasting peace. And finally, on the international front, a British woman held in Egypt on drug smuggling charges has been transferred or referred to criminal court for trial. Laura Plummer, 33, was arrested last month, accused of entering the country with 300 tramadol tablets, a painkiller legal in the UK, but not in Egypt. Thanks so much for your time. This is News at 10. Let's start with a big one. A Karachi East magistrate on Thursday, November 10, jailed two culprits in child trafficking and child labor for 12 months in hard labor. The two, Mauli Nyajo and Lydia Doche, both pleaded guilty on conspiracy to commit crime and child trafficking and were convicted on their own plea.
The arrest of the two followed a combined effort by lead agencies of the Child Protection Compact Agreement, Free the Slave, IOM, International Needs and PACODEP, a local NGO in Karachi. The convicts, Mauli Nyajo, the child trafficker, and Lydia Doche, mother of the victim, both pleaded guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy to commit crime to wit trafficking and child trafficking. The prosecution told the court Lydia Doche sold her 8-year-old son and the victim Gamali Adbo into child labor on the Volta Lake at 300 cedis for 2 years. The prosecutor said Lydia, a native of Avega Gome near Sogakope, took only 100 cedis as part payment and let go her son into slavery. The conviction is a boost in Ghana's quest to satisfy the Child Protection Compact Agreement signed with the U.S. government under the Growing Up Free project.
Meanwhile, the Executive Director for Human Rights Education Africa, Clement Kadogbe, is calling for systems to aid in the reintegration of victims of child trafficking. He spoke to Issa Money on News 360.
Let's look straight at this issue. A woman has been able to sell her son for just 300 cedis. I mean, basically to slavery. Does that mean our society has failed in protecting our own or the citizenry?
Thank you, Issa, and good evening to your cherished viewers. Right. It's a disturbing news, but certainly not surprising. but child trafficking has been going on for quite a while now. And we have very beautiful laws on this, but we are failing in protecting our children. And one thing we don't understand is that when a child is sold into slavery, basically, the child suffers sexual molestation, the child loses the right to education, and many other rights are abused. So our society or stakeholders must be up in doing everything possible. And in fact, all the protocols, including the Convention on the Rights of the Child, always talks about the best interests of the child. So there is some level of work to be done by duty bearers to do everything possible to protect children. But we don't see that. But how do we address this?
Absolutely. I was coming to that, Clement. I mean, as a member of my community, if I notice that a woman or somebody is selling his or her own child, what should I do? I mean, how do we address it?
You should ask yourself what will compel a mother to sell her child. I think fundamentally it's poverty. So we need to address the issue of poverty. Until we address this issue, we will continue to suffer such occurrences.
Right. So, Clement, this appears to be bigger than what a member of a community society can solve. If it's poverty, I mean, no member of a society or a community can solve the poverty problems of another. So, what is that? What can we do to help each other?
Well, we must be each other's keeper, first of all. And the government must also be up in doing. I mean, we should block all these loopholes where corruption thrives and use all these monies to take care of the deprived in society. So the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection must be up in doing. Our law enforcement agencies must be up in doing. And even the NCCE must up its game in educating people about the dangers of child trafficking. If we get these things right, we will be getting somewhere as far as eradicating this problem.
Right. So what should be the first point of call? Should we report to the police, or any opinion leader in our community should get to know if we notice?
First of all, we must be each other's keeper, as I said. Everybody must be on the lookout in our communities. If you see something fishy, you must draw somebody's attention, the chief or the Odikru or whatever, or run to the police that you've noticed a group of people trying to smuggle or traffic some children. You report, and then the necessary actions are taken.
That's it for the big one. When we come back, we'll tell you about healthcare in the Upper West region.
Mission is supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, DFID and the European Union.
With over 37,000 population, the Fiama Boucher Issa district of the Upper West region has no medical doctor. It cannot boast of a health facility that can admit a single patient. A poor road network also threatens lives of pregnant women who are transferred to Wa or Nadoli, about 2 hours drive from the communities.
It is a new district, and so healthcare delivery is difficult. Pregnant women are most affected.
If you check majority, I can say 80% of the women. It's just 20% of them that go to do their labs and come back. I had a case like that. She hasn't done any of the labs. The baby was almost coming, which I wasn't even supposed to attend to because I don't know the HB of the woman. But because it was so necessary that I had to attend to her, I risked that of the woman's life and that of the baby's life because there was nothing I could do.
This is the story of several women in over 50 communities scattered far apart. Some are located 3 or 4 hours drive to the capital, Issa. Healthcare is therefore not the best. Several factors account for this.
It's a rural district, and a lot of the women engage in peasant economic activities. And if you ask a woman the little they would need to even pay to access the nearest hospital is a challenge already. And so the pregnancies are occurring, deliveries are going on. Nature cannot wait for the roads to be made before women will deliver. We are doing our best. Where we can, we will save them. Where we can't, we will refer them and hope that they will get to the next level safely and deliver and get the services of a more qualified staff than what we have in the Fiama Buse Issa district.
Then comes transportation.
It has been very difficult because since we started in the whole district, we haven't had an ambulance, and then we depend on individual means by which the patient will take to go. If the district could afford an ambulance for each sub-district, because we have 5 sub-districts in this district, so if the assembly could do that, I think it would have been easier for us.
It's a very bad and very challenging area if you want to transport, especially a woman who is in labor. We have had cases where women deliver on the road in trying to reach the health centers.
No Chips compound has effective transport system.
We are relying on, in some cases, the tricycles to transport patients. And in some cases, that is if you are lucky to lay hands on a tricycle. So what we decided to do was to mobilize the communities and do what we call the community emergency transport system, where the community mobilize themselves, they contribute some money, keep aside, and in the case of an emergency, they use those funds to look for any available means to transport the client to the nearest referral center.
And so lives are at stake. The motorking or the Nyaba lorry is your savior when traveling, but it doesn't come easy. Sometimes it runs into trouble and they spend several hours trying to get it fixed. To reverse this, the district health management team is strategizing. Currently, a doctor's bungalow, maternity wing, a laboratory complex and several other projects are underway to put up a district hospital.
I'm also putting together some proposals to seek for funds outside, NGOs, whoever that can support the district assembly to put up some of this infrastructure so that we can convert the district health center into a district hospital by the year 2019. I received a letter from the regional health directorate indicating that a doctor is now to take charge in the district in every week you come 2 days. And the last time also I went, I was told the other one will also be coming. So that is why I am seriously working on the medical doctor's bungalow at Issa, so that by the time he will become, the bungalow will be ready.
Other strategies by the district medical health team are expected to improve healthcare delivery. Justice Sophia Akufu has directed all judges to, with immediate effect, wear the symbolic wigs during court sittings. Her directive is in contrast with an earlier one some 2 years ago, demanding a stop to wearing wigs. Many are asking why African judges are still wearing the accessories of their colonial masters. Is it time to Africanize the dressing of our judges and lawyers? Saloma Minya has more.
Judges and lawyers started wearing wigs around 1680. For 150 years, the legal wig was usually of powdered white or grey hair. In 1822, Humphrey Ravenscroft invented a legal wig made of whitish grey horsehair that did not need frizzing, curling, perfuming or powdering. Judges as well as lawyers wear the short wigs during court sittings, but judges of the Superior Court wear the long wigs for ceremonial purposes.
Many have held that Ghanaian and African judges need not wear these robes and wigs in order to perform effectively. Some have also said that these wigs and robes makes our judges look a little bit alien to our people. While some believe it is uncomfortable, others say it is unsuitable for the scorchy and hot weather of this part of the world. But is that the case?
Lawyers are supposed to wear a robe fondly called advocate's gown and a collar band along with it while appearing before the judge. What are the reasons behind having a standard court dressing style? The directive by the Chief Justice Sophia Kufu instructed judges to ensure they are fully attired in robes alongside the wigs. Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice, also indicated that the new directive is aimed at eliminating what she described as creeping casualness in the judicial system. Some lawyers who spoke to us off camera said the robes can be worn, but wigs, also known as peruke, should have been done away with rather soon after the British dominance. So, why are Ghanaian judges still wearing the wigs? Justice Victor Ofoe is a Court of Appeal judge and President of the Association of Magistrates and Judges of Ghana. He disclosed that there was an earlier directive instructing judges to discontinue the use of the wigs.
What I got to know was that we were suspended on experimental basis. So the Chief Justice currently instructing the wearing of the wig and gown is just reinstating something that we were doing before and which was suspended for whatever experiment to be performed.
Is it colonial and would need to be done away with? He debunked assertions that the attire is meant to intimidate the public.
You go to court and they'll be quoting cases, Queen's Bench 1853. Colonial. There's some uniqueness about the judges. And so why don't you enhance the uniqueness by putting on the wigs that we were wearing before? I do not see why you go to a courtroom, several parties in the courtroom, and you see judges wearing some particular uniform and gown, wig, then you say, you are afraid.
Justice Victor Ofoe recounted the nostalgia around the wearing of the wig as a young lawyer.
I was the happiest human being on earth. To find myself also wearing wig and gown, that was being worn by lawyers those days, very elderly old men lawyers. I appreciated it more that my position has changed.
A retired Supreme Court judge, Justice V.C. R.A.C. Crabb, supported the maintenance of this practice, dismissing the argument of it being colonial, questioning why as a country we still speak the Queen's language.
I have a very simple answer to it. Don't we also have brains? Do we have to do something because it's being done in the British? They brought it to us. We have accepted it. We are working with it. If they have given it away, does it mean we have to give it away? That line of thinking means that any time they do something in Britain, we have to do it. If they are foolish, we have to be foolish. Is that how we are going to develop?
The retired Supreme Court judge said the wig has a spiritual connotation representing the judge's allegiance to God.
If you look at a judge's bench wig, you will find at the top a round circle. Within that round circle, the strands are not curly, they are straight. You know why? It's supposed to represent the fire which came upon the disciples of Christ at Pentecost. That should tell you the spiritual aspect of the work of a judge. And I believe what the Chief Justice is trying to do is that every day a judge sits in court, he should be reminded that he owes some allegiance, not only to his country, but also to God.
After the directive of the Chief Justice, how has judges and magistrates been complying? The news team visited the legal shop on the Ghana Law School campus where these robes and wigs are sold. Amanda Timar is the salesperson.
I must say it's quite okay compared to the previous years. This year they've really been buying, and I personally heard the news that was last week ago. But since then, yesterday for instance, a lady came here and asked the price. A gentleman came this morning and bought one. So it's making the market booming very well.
Clearly, the wigs will simply not go away anytime soon, as an earlier effort to do away with it did not achieve the needed results.
All right, the judges and their wigs there. In other news, the Fisheries Commission Task Force based in Pram Pram in the Greater Accra region has arrested 58 fishermen allegedly engaging in illegal fishing in the Tema Canoe Beach waters. 6 other fishermen have also been detained at the Tema Regional Police Command over the clashes between the Tema Newtown fishermen and the task force.
The Fisheries Task Force was formed early this year to protect the marine sector from illegal fishing practices. However, some fisherfolks, mainly from the Adan East and West District of the Greater Accra region, continue to hold to the word. This often led to violent confrontations between the fishermen and the task force. On Friday, November 10, about 8 canoes belonging to the Tema Artisanal Fishermen Association were intercepted at sea by the task force for various violations. Attempts by the task force to seize their canoe resulted in a violent clashes, leaving 2 persons injured. The task force managed to arrest 58 occupants of the 8 canoes together with their fishing gears. Other fishermen from Newtown, on hearing this, mobilized to attack and capture one of the canoes being used by the task force and 6 men. A timely intervention by the Marine Police prevented deadly confrontations. The Tema Artisanal Fishermen Association Secretary Gabriel Ni Ama Ashite warned of strong resistance.
We've warned them. They didn't want to listen. So we've started. Let them come. We are ready. We are telling Honorable Afole and the people of Pram Pram that we are equal to the tax. We shall meet them.
The Tema Regional Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Joseph Dakwa, expressed worry over the developments. 6 fishermen have so far been detained at the Tema Regional Police Command pending further police investigations.
All right, thanks so much for your time with us on News at 10. This is how we're wrapping up, and there's more news on 3news.com. The show was produced by Salom Amenya. My name is Bright Nanamfo. Have a good night, but stay right here on TV3. Good night.